Hey, are you an actor or singer who wants to dominate on social media in order to increase your social numbers for casting? I'm sure you've been tempted to buy your followers. It's a fast and easy process, and you've probably watched some of your friends' accounts grow really quickly. Well, I'm no social media guru, but because of the research I've done so far, I've definitely come to believe that organic growth is the way to go. As a performing artist, organic social media growth gives you the opportunity to build a truly solid fan base. And while I only recently started my Instagram account, I have managed to organically grow my account from 0 to 500 followers, now 600 and a bit, in a relatively short amount of time. So in today's video, I'm going to share my top 7 tips for growing your new Instagram account, as well as the biggest mistake I made when starting out. Hi, I'm Fiona Flyte, and welcome to my channel, where on Wednesdays I share tips and tools for developing your profitable singing career, and on Fridays I share my own singing to inspire you to share yours. Tip number 1 is to definitely use hashtags. Hashtags are a primary way people look for content that interests them. Instagram will allow you to use 30 per post. Keep in mind, there are a lot of rumors about the Instagram algorithm and exactly how many hashtags are advisable per post. Some people recommend using only a handful, as in 3 to 7. Others say use the whole 30. Still others say use a lot, but not quite 30, like 25 to 27. That's where I've landed. For me, the challenge is narrowing down my choices. It's very helpful to plan your hashtags in advance, but don't reuse the same ones over and over, or you risk being tagged as spam. Instead, create several groups of hashtags and rotate them. I'll do a whole video just on hashtags in the future, but in the meantime, let me know in the comments if you have any favorite hashtag strategies of your own. The next tip is to make sure you include your location. Several times when I added my location to my story was picked up by that location story, adding several hundred additional eyeballs at a time when my stories typically reached only 40 to 50 people. Adding a location is definitely a best practice that increases your visibility and optimizes your posts and stories. Additionally, if you're looking to increase your gigs in a certain region, adding your location can be really helpful in getting you noticed by locals. Use both the names of venues in your area and the area itself. Since I take a lot of photos around my home, I don't get a lot of traction from hashtag Los Angeles because it's such a huge hashtag, meaning my post gets lost almost immediately. However, when I'm performing in a show, hashtag specific performing arts center or hashtag specific club increases my targeted reach. Tip 3 is to tag other accounts. In the beginning, I only tagged other accounts when I was referencing them directly. And I saw a big boost when I tagged my own coach, Vanessa Lau, in a thank you story because she reposted it and tagged me back. Here's the link to her amazing video about the Instagram story swipe up hack, which I've been using on a regular basis to promote my YouTube channel. Go ahead and experiment tagging more accounts in your niche. Be brave about putting yourself out there, but also be strategic about how you use this strategy. If your post seems like spam, the accounts you tag may block you. On the other hand, they may also follow you back and engage with you. Use your best judgment and focus on adding value. Another tip is to use stories ideally on a daily basis. The advice I heard a lot when I was just starting was to use stories, but I couldn't figure out why, because the only people who were watching my stories were people who were already following me and I wanted to grow. Then I discovered I could add locations, hashtags, and tagging to my stories, just like for my posts. Once I started optimizing my stories, I definitely saw an increase in views. I don't know yet to what degree this is translating to new followers, and I honestly feel a little overexposed when my stories get picked up by a hashtag story like hashtag opera singer story or hashtag California story. But I'm doing it anyway, and since they get seen by more people, this strategy challenges me to improve the quality of my stories as well. A lot of people, myself included, have a hard time keeping up with quality grid posts, so the fleeting, ephemeral nature of Instagram stories can be attractive. You can also use stories to share posts from other accounts, which will increase your engagement and real human connection. People feel good when they know their content is appreciated. By reposting other people's content, you're acknowledging their effort, and they're likely to do the same by reposting your content. I love using stories to promote my clients' shows, gigs, and accomplishments, but I also like to use them to share clips of other talented singers I meet online, as well as uplifting and inspiring content that makes me feel motivated. Do you like using stories? Let me know in the comments. I know it's taken me a little time to get used to it. The fifth tip is to consistently post quality content. This is a no-brainer, but people often complain that they're not growing, and then when you visit their account, they've only got 2 posts. First and foremost, show up, post a good photo, a good caption, and stick around afterwards to reply immediately to any comments you get. The Instagram algorithm pays the most attention to the first hour of activity on your post, and the amount of activity determines whether or not you show up on other people's feeds and explore pages. If you take it a step further and engage with the comments on other people's accounts during this hour, you also increase the likelihood that the people you engage with will check out your page and find your new post. Again, the higher the quality of your posts, the more likely people will want to follow you for more. Keep in mind the 3 pillars I mentioned in my last video about the biggest mistake I see singers and actors making on Instagram. Make sure your posts and stories hit at least 1, if not more, of the 3 pillars. Ask yourself how each post educates, inspires, and/or entertains. Another tip is to study your analytics. One of the mistakes I made when starting my Instagram account was keeping it personal. I knew I would eventually change it to business, but I'd heard rumors that it was initially easier to grow as a personal account. I didn't think it was a big deal either way. I thought as soon as I switched to business, all the analytics from my earlier posts would be available to me. I was wrong. I have no stats from all my early experimentation with days and times, quotes versus selfies. So when I switched to a business account, I was basically starting from scratch in terms of data. My advice is don't wait to go with a business account and miss out on all your early analytics. And tip 7 may be the most important. Be patient and persistent. In other words, be consistent. The most important thing you can do to grow on Instagram is to be patient. I know this is boring and obvious, but truly, the biggest secret to organic Instagram growth is patience. Just keep showing up and trust that your effort will pay off. It's really not that hard to get to 500 followers if you follow these tips. It took me about 4 months to grow from 0 to 500. But here's where it gets tricky, and this is the biggest mistake I've made so far, besides not going business earlier. You need to make sure you watch out for what you're telling the algorithm about your niche. Another strategy I used to grow my account to 500 was following back any account that seemed like a legitimate account, not a bot or offensive to my personal values. I did not do follow, unfollow. I simply followed back the accounts that followed me, and I used an app called Cleaner to see who were the follow unfollowers. Using the data from Cleaner, I continued to follow the legit accounts who were just wanting to grow and unfollowed the accounts that had unfollowed me as soon as I'd followed them back. So basically, although I wasn't seeking it out, I was doing an unofficial follow for follow. Many of the accounts were legitimately building their following simply by following and engaging with other accounts just like me. This seemed great until I realized that I was following and being followed by a large number of health and fitness accounts. It's true, I am mildly interested in health and fitness, and I enjoy success stories of moms who had started fitness businesses and gotten fit themselves. So I was happy to follow back uplifting fitness accounts. But the more fitness accounts I followed back, the more fitness accounts came my way. So that pretty quickly when Instagram looked at my account, they thought I was also in the fitness niche. So if you choose to use the strategy of following back other growing accounts, make an effort to grow as close to your ideal niche, optimal audience, and dream clients as possible. Make sure you know who you want to attract and are following some of the accounts who have already grown your ideal type of audience. I sure hope these tips help you to grow on Instagram and that you can learn from my mistakes as well. In a future Instagram video, I'll go into the strategies I'm employing now to get to 1,000 followers that are more likely people who are actually interested in my content. But first, next week, I'm going to teach you how to start your own voice studio. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like it, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments below what other topics you'd like me to cover to help you further your singing career. And make sure to check out this video about the biggest mistake I see actors and singers making on Instagram, and also this video about how to make money singing without an audition. And as always, go out into the world and let your light shine. You deserve to be heard, and the world deserves to hear you.